Roughly speaking, we are halfway through. Specifically speaking, if you add Hajime, we're halfway through. Because there's 8 left, see? Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, whew, did the math right. Therefore, in the spirit of where we are in Steins Gate, we're going to not waste time and try to move through very quickly, so let's just start.
Speaking of wasting time and not moving through quickly, we're the Bittersweet Gamers.
I said, we're not going to waste time.
And I'm We Squared.
We are going to utilize the time in an exquisite way. Time will pass, and as it is passed, it will be as if tasting a fine wine or your favorite treats.
What are you talking about?
That's not wasting time. Right?
I'ma roll the dice, Damon.
Okay. Nope, Nekomaru's off the table.
Oh god, who's it gonna be?
Oh, is it gonna be my turn?
Ah, excellent!
Oh, I guess it wasn't me. I'm sorry I didn't win this time.
Just gonna get out of the way, are ya?
Hey.
Now, I'm fully expecting her FTEs to be much like Kyoko's, because she is kind of the Kyoko of this game.
Very much. She is the game. Like, she's one of the characters that everything about her comes out through the game, so you can probably just do more game references.
There's something kind of philosophical about that, given who she is.
Oh, the ultimate gamer is the game. So these are actually really good quotes. Video games are my hobby, and I'm a fan of all genres. There is really something to be said about that. It's a difficult opinion to share, but there's something kind of admirable about someone who is so enthusiastic about their hobby that they find something to like in every expression of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because my goal is to watch all robot anime.
Completely unrelated.
Even the crappy ones. I'm gonna tell you something. My MAL, which is my anime list, it's like it's a database where you record what you've seen and your score for it. Because it's useful to keep track of it. My MAL has about 500 entries. It doesn't mean I've seen 500 series, but it does have about 500 entries. The majority of them, more than 3/5, is robot anime. So that means it's around 300 odd entries, which probably comes down to like 260 series or something.
The math checks out to me.
That seems like it's too big of a number, but then I think about what I have seen. Anyway, the point is I want to say maybe 50 or 60 of those flarkin' sucked. I can't say that I am the same as Chiaki, that I like the crappy ones. Because I don't. I don't and I can't, but I try to give them a fair shake. So in that sense, I find Chiaki especially admirable for providing me an ideal of how to engage with your hobby even better than I do with mine.
So just as a reminder, this FTE selector was created by Owlcatcher. If you're interested in getting a copy yourself, why not come to the Discord and ask him?
You may have noticed, but the link is in the description.
So last time was Nagito, and this time is Chiaki.
Oh, I feel like there's some guiding hand of fate at work here.
Oh, I'm starting to get sleepy. I said starting. That's pretty funny, huh? Let's go somewhere with good airflow. It'd probably feel good to sleep there.
We went to the park, and I spent time making small talk with Chiaki
Before she dozed off.
If you don't sleep in a place with good airflow, then that means logically you're in a place with bad airflow. What is that, like a box? I don't want to go to sleep in a box. Hajime, you're not going to put me in a box when I sleep, are you?
I'm not going to put you in a box, Chiaki.
Okay, that's good. We've only got 2 of Chiaki's FTEs left. We did most of them, And I think we've only even understood one of the games she was referencing too, and that's because it was Shadowgate. So in Steins Gate, yes, I know, this isn't a Steins Gate video. In an episode a couple of weeks ago, we had Gundam voice actor trivia that came up, and that's when we found out that Chiaki has the same voice actor as Shina Mayuri from Steins Gate. It's pretty interesting, but their speaking style so far seems completely different, because they're not really similar, except that
There's a degree of fua-fua, but not full-on fua-fua.
yeah, like spacey fluffiness, but they're kind of like at the opposite ends.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Chiaki is at the most aware and cognizant version of that, whereas Mayushi, bless her heart,
She's so far on the other end, we can't make a proper analogy describing it.
she's less than what... I'm trying to not call her stupid, okay? I'm trying really hard. So it makes sense they'd have a different speaking style. Anyway, neat trivia, and I also say synchronicity. Hey, where do you want to go today? That's way more energetic than I usually am, huh?
This is the first time I've seen Chiaki look so interested or energetic.
Last time, you taught me that cows are only slightly weird instead of extremely weird, and that I don't have to fear them. What are you gonna teach me today, senpai? I got that from other types of games, but I'm not good at those games. We already talked about that.
And she's not even sleeping.
That's because I just slept. I'll be sleepy again later, though. Don't worry.
Maybe she was looking forward to this.
Maybe I am looking forward to spending time with you. What about it?
Let's see. Why don't we check out the storage room in the old building? We might find something interesting.
Like Sokoban. That's a fun game to play. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's the box pushing one. Man, that was really hard. Because I was like 9 or something. I mean, I never cleared it because it just wasn't as interesting as the Lolo games.
Oh man, the Lolo game.
I cleared the first one and the second one with the help of my dad, but since I had Sokoban on the Game Boy, or a version of it or something that was just like it, on the Game Boy, I couldn't do it with my dad.
I see.
So I could never clear it because it was hard. Besides, you don't shoot magic at things to turn them into eggs and then dump the eggs into the water and run all over them to try and pick up the heart containers and get shot by Medusa statues and stuff.
Lolo's a fun game.
The Lolo games are great, man. And then Lemmings. Sorry, I used to play puzzle games, but I don't really anymore. Like Damon was blathering about, it's this old puzzle game where you have to push boxes in a warehouse to their assigned spots.
Oh, I see.
Then let's win over Monomi so we can go inside the storage room.
Chiaki pumped herself up, and after winning over Monomi, which is suspicious and I don't understand how she did it, we went into the storage room. A boy and a girl by themselves in the storage room? What?
But if I promise that nothing's going to happen and give you my word, doesn't that mean you don't trust your students? You have to trust your students, right?
Are you blackmailing me?
Hey.
What?
There's not a whole lot you can push and pull.
Don't tell me you were serious about playing Sokoban in the storage room.
I was really looking forward to it, yeah.
No wonder she seemed so excited about coming here.
Hey, Hajime, are you good at puzzle games?
Nah, I'm not that good at using my brain.
Somehow I kind of thought so. Man, I'm thinking about Lolo again.
I remember that one stage we did on Lolo 3 that we couldn't figure out the answer to.
We might have talked about this before. Anyway, Lolo 3 I never was able to beat. And so Billy and I played it on an emulator about 15 years ago, and we swapped out stages. I could have sworn we've talked about this. Oh well, it's a duplicate then. Our rule was that
we don't look up the answer,
even if we're stuck.
But there was one stage. The way we figured out how to do it, it had to do with half spaces, and it wasn't the way that the guide said to do it.
We could not come up with the solution, so we came up with the solution that was so ridiculous, it was actually outside of what the game was supposed to do.
It was great.
But we did it anyway. That was our crowning moment in a puzzle game by far.
そうかな。
Oh, really? Maybe you just don't like them because you haven't played that many.
あのね、
You know how to properly theorize in order to view things, and you can calmly manage when it's important.
Is she talking to Hajime or us?
Class trials, like, pretty clearly you're able to perform well in them, so I feel like you'd be good at puzzle games once you got the hang of it. Maybe the problem is there's nothing that you get from them. There's no stakes, there's nothing to really draw you in, so if you don't find the concept of solving a puzzle for the sake of solving a puzzle fun, then you wouldn't really enjoy them, even if you'd be good at them. What?
Huh? You really see me like that? That kind of embarrasses me. I think that's the nicest thing anyone has ever said about me.
ほら、
For example, Rubik's Cubes and jigsaw puzzles are puzzle games too.
Yeah, I remember putting together a lot of jigsaw puzzles when I was little.
ほらね。
My dad used to put together jigsaw puzzles. Yep, then you already know the trick, right?
The trick to jigsaw puzzles
It's
is
a
you
sim-
start from the outside and work your way in.
Apparently this enraged Billy.
Look, my grandma would put together so many jigsaw puzzles, and when she was watching me, that was the only entertainment to be had. It was that or nothing.
You couldn't watch TV?
Nope, couldn't watch that either. It was puzzle time or nothing. I love my grandma, but
So did you get good at putting them together?
I am pretty good at it, yeah. You know my family's really good at Tetris?
Really?
My grandma played Tetris, my mother played Tetris, I played Tetris. We're just really good. When you consider my dynamic vision, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I could get to level 9 as a kid.
That's pretty good. I was only able to do that a few times after doing it really intensely, but I was not good at stuff like that when I was young.
You assemble from the outer pieces, right?
I guess this episode is childhood puzzle games with BSG. That's right. First you separate the pieces with edges. Afterward, you separate the leftovers by color. It makes putting it together a lot easier.
I see. Now I kind of feel like putting one together since it's been such a long time.
I've never done a Rubik's Cube, because I've just never had a Rubik's Cube. If I had one, I would have done it.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. My father always programmed puzzle games.
Oh yeah? Your father is a programmer, huh?
Yeah, apparently he was pretty manly when he was focusing in front of his laptop.
I bet he was. I bet he was.
うーん。
But I heard he couldn't solve a puzzle he made, and it really depressed him. But since he hated losing, he actually went out of his way to write a separate program, and then he made the program do stuff like a brute force hacking attack!
Brute what?
えっと、
Think about it. The puzzle he couldn't solve was the school killings. So he wrote a separate program to do a brute force attack.
Oh, it's a way of forcibly finding the answer. No worries though, it's normal for you not to know. I mean, I'm sure you knew what that was. Brute force?
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't really understand, but it seems like Chiaki also knows about programming.
For some reason, I'm kind of naturally inclined towards understanding code.
More importantly, why does everything she say about her father sound like hearsay? Wouldn't that mean she didn't personally see it?
ねえねえ。
Well, we should get going and head back.
Yeah, you're right.
Ah!
Oh, she fell through the hole.
Huh? I quickly opened my arms and caught Chiaki as she fell into them. The best ships are the game-approved ones. Are you okay?
I tripped and fell in a hole.
ありがとう。
Oh, how embarrassing. I've never tripped before in my life.
As she said that, she stepped away from my chest.
I haven't had too many chances to trip, so pretty neat.
My heart sounds really loud.
Maybe I'll try and do that again.
Of course it does. It's my heart. What?
Oh, that surprised me. You're pretty hard, Hajime.
Look, I can't help it. I'm a teenage boy. Oh, wait, I think you're talking about something else. Huh? That is, you see.
Yeah, I preferred your line. Unlike me, your arms and chest are really built. You're definitely a boy.
Well, I would say that your chest is pretty anyway!
What? What is it?
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, that's obvious.
But I'm glad you caught me. That means I'll be fine in case of emergencies.
眠い
Even if I suddenly get sleepy, I'll be fine. You can carry me.
I'm just going to have to start wearing a poncho when I carry you, because you're going to drool all over me, aren't you?
Well, you know, Billy, some people are into that.
I'm not one of them. Hey, don't sleep!
But why not? I'm thinking if I fall asleep while standing up, I might trip again, and it was pretty pleasant.
You're going to cause a misunderstanding with Monomi. If she saw me carrying you like that, she'd go nuclear.
Oh yeah, I guess we did get in here on the basis of not doing anything, even though it's a boy and a girl alone in the storage room.
Yeah.
Now maybe Chiaki could use a cheat code.
I desperately tried to keep Chiaki from falling asleep and walked her back to her room, feeling the judgmental eyes of Monomi the entire way. Hajime, what did you do to Chiaki? Why is there some kind of liquid all over your chest?
ねえねえ
You know, we didn't go to a place with good airflow.
You're right, we went to the storage room.
So this is pretty surprising. I think I do like her dub voice actress more.
Really?
Obviously, we can't really tell until we really get to see him in a trial or something.
Uh-huh.
And there was something about that kind of semi-deadpan flatness that she had
あのね
that was really charming.
Huh.
How did you know I wanted that?
It's a secret to everyone.
えっと
There's somewhere I want to go with you today. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Anywhere is fine as long as we're not in front of this stupid statue. It's the first time Chiaki has picked a place herself. My heart is starting to race.
Hajime, this isn't that kind of a game.
Chiaki took me to the beach.
My swimsuit is white. How daring.
She's looking around for some reason. Hey, why'd you pick the beach after all this time? Not that I mind going to the beach with a girl like you.
Was that Teru Teru?
Did you want to swim or something?
うーん
Oh, in those types of games, usually you put lotion on my back, right?
I'm on board!
This really is that kind of a game, Hajime. And then you'd touch me in a weird place, and I'd yell at you. It's a standard tactic.
あれれ
Which reminds me, where do you think the legendary tree is growing?
What? What kind of game are you talking about now? Probably a JRPG.
あのね
I shall give you 3 choices for what we're going to do from now on. Please select from the following 3.
Is this a new game of hers or something?
I mean, there's a billion games with some type of world tree, or less than world tree, but still some kind of magic tree.
I opened the piece of paper that Chiaki gave me. Do I really have to choose one of these? Then I hug Chiaki. Come to Papa. Wait a minute. Is this how my characterization was?
I feel dirty on the outside, and not because of sand.
Just kidding.
Oh, you were? I'm glad you were just kidding, because if you were really like that, I'd have to think a lot less of you. If you did something that violent so suddenly, it would have been really bad. All the flags in the story would have been lowered, and the affection meter would have drastically decreased.
Oh, this is pretty difficult. How do I beat this game?
It's pretty hard for me, too, because I don't really understand how they work. We already established this. This is the second time I referenced that. Does that mean there was a flag that was raised? I mean, there was one, I guess, but that's not the one I was talking about.
I'm guessing celebrating the ocean.
I don't know. I was thinking happy, happy, joy, joy is probably the right answer, but you never let me say anything and just run and pick it.
Celebrating the ocean? I don't even know what this means.
You shouldn't have gotten on that boat in the first place.
I really shouldn't have gotten on that boat in the first place.
Hey, Hajime, do you like boats?
No. Oh, well, I guess I should have listened to David from the outset.
Well, you couldn't have listened to me. I hadn't gotten to say anything.
Happy, happy, joy, joy. What does this even mean? All I can think of is the old Ren and Stimpy cartoon.
Leave it to Billy to bring up TV from the early 90s. I don't really know either, but it's probably something like this.
Suddenly, Chiaki started running.
Yeah, running barefoot on the beach with the person you like. That's what you do. Catch me if you can.
She continued running across the beach.
The sun's going down.
How romantic.
Ah, catch me if you can.
Falls asleep halfway and passes out in the sand.
This is how it's supposed to work, isn't it? Not the falling asleep part. That was Billy being a perv.
Hey, I'm just playing true to your archetype. I had no choice, so I chased after her.
Don't sound too happy about it or something. Boy, the next time I want to do something fun with you, I'll just skip it.
After chasing her around for a little bit, we felt really tired and sat down on the beach. Chiaki, not that I'm complaining spending time with you, but what in the world are we doing?
Having fun, you idiot. I was thinking about overcoming the genre I'm bad at.
Relationship games.
So I was trying to set up a game scenario for myself, but it hasn't worked because you just say stupid things.
My flag went down. Bad at? Oh, now I remember. The other day you mentioned that there are games you're not good at.
We only talked about them like 10 times so far. Apparently, my father also wasn't good at things like this. Well, this is the most difficult, after all.
That would kind of make sense. If her father was bad with people and programmed her, he wouldn't be able to program her to be that good with people? Because he can only program them based on his own knowledge and experience?
What I find interesting about this is when it comes to dating sim games or something with relationships, it's just number management.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not talking about getting into the style or aesthetic of the game or rejecting that style or aesthetic or something. Like, aside from that, the when it comes to the point-based relationship stuff, it's just juggling numbers. How can Chiaki be so bad at it? The reason that she's bad at it isn't because she's bad at juggling numbers. It's not the actual content that she doesn't understand. It's that the topic is so frightening to her that she can't approach it with her normal abilities.
I see.
So she's got like this deathly fear of it, which is silly when you consider how good she is at managing relationships, like plainly by looking at her actions and speech throughout the game.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that liking or disliking something or fearing something or having anxiety about something don't have to be logical.
They're kind of, by nature, illogical.
We as human beings are built to be intuitive and emotional creatures. Rationality and reason are not the default state, but learned skills.
Yeah. Whereas she's kind of the opposite as an AI.
Mm-hmm.
So she's good at the rationalization and logic, but not so good at the intuition and...
Because she is built from the ground up to be a strictly numbers-based, reason-based person.
Yeah. Interesting.
At least that's how I'm taking it.
That certainly seems to come through a lot in how she talks. And she clearly learned a lot from everyone over the course of the game.
Oh yeah, and she doesn't have any emotional problems either.
Right.
That's not the issue. But
she doesn't have as much confidence emotionally, maybe something like that.
That's a good way to put it. That part is similar to Chihiro. It's not that Chihiro actually had some sort of like weird or warped emotional development like some other characters.
No, we're done with his FTE.
Not even just him. It's just it was a lack of confidence.
That's what it boiled down to.
And it's interesting that somehow that's what was transmitted into Chiaki. That lack of confidence.
Yeah.
That's the closest she's going to get to despair because she's not one of the ultimate despairs.
You know, we hadn't even talked about that at all. Let's keep going, but I want to come back to that point before we're done. The fact that Chiaki is the only character in this game who isn't ultimate despair. Oh, you guys are back? I was taking a nap while you were talking about me. I see. So this is what it feels like.
Why do you feel convinced by yourself?
Well, because I can convince myself of things. Can't you convince yourself of things? Just now, that was a date, right?
Don't say that so loud. Motomi might overhear.
I think those are usually a little different.
Are you complaining, you flarking idiot?
No.
But I sort of understand what Chiaki meant when she said she's not good at this game. She probably means dating sims.
In my experience, people who aren't familiar with visual novels, of which this game most definitely is one, seem to think they're all dating sims.
Well, there is a degree of appeal that is marketed towards a certain sort of audience to many visual novels, so I can understand that confusion.
I suppose something like that, is responsible for the origin of the genre. Really, that wasn't the direction I was going to go, but factually, that is the origin of the genre, and it's not dating sims that we're talking about here. To the point where there have been several games that I've played even, like Fate Stay Night is probably the best known example of this, where it was like, well, you have to put the H stuff in because you won't sell a game in this genre if you don't.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, you decisively won that exchange. What do you think?
I am the bone of my sword. Don't take that out of context.
Don't look now, but I think his romance flag has been raised to full mast.
But that's indecent!
This beach is getting really crowded.
After spending time with you, I realized something for the first time.
Yeah?
There are a lot of things I still don't understand. For example, I know how babies are made, but I don't really know how to fall in love with someone.
Well,
I'm trying to improve at this genre.
there isn't really a way how to do it. It just happens, you know? It's not like
I'm gonna tell you something. If people want to hear love talk from BSG, they came to the wrong place. That sort of thing.
Why would you use that as an example?
どうかした？
Oh, what happened? Your face is red, Hajime. Don't you want to talk about how you make babies? With me? Talking about it with me. What did you think I meant?
Was your characterization always like this? Nothing happened. It's fine.
Just as I thought, there's still a bunch of stuff I don't know anything about. I want to know more about lots of things. Because if I do, I'll be able to understand much more, I think.
あのね、
So, can you keep teaching me, Hajime?
Well, you know, when you make that face at me and pink hearts come flying out of your head,
I start to wonder if I've been in the sun too long.
It works every time.
yeah, of course. But in order to do that, we need to hurry up and get off this island.
You have totally dodged this entire incident so magnificently that I don't know whether to be angry, offended, or impressed. Or disappointed, maybe.
忘れないでね、私のこと。ここを出てもずっと。
What an interesting thing to say.
Huh? Why do I feel like crying all of a sudden?
I don't know why Chiaki would say something like that. But there's no denying the strong bond I feel between Chiaki and myself. I will definitely get out of here, and take Chiaki to a lot of different places.
That's gonna be really hard unless you put me in somebody else's body, and then the game genre is pretty different, huh?
I'll just, download you onto my phone, on a tablet maybe.
Oh, you don't want to upload her into somebody else? Maybe you could upload Chiaki into...
I feel like there would be some moral issues with that.
Good lord, you clearly needed this.
Shut up!
Well, what's true is true.
I know.
Classic, straightforward.
I approve. Her panties are 8-bit. No comment.
It's an art style on the panties. Anyway, back to the topic of ultimate despair. Chiaki, being an AI, was the only person who wasn't one of the ultimate despair. Whether the others had their memories or not, she really wasn't that different from the other characters, though, was she? Not about the AI thing.
I hope that wasn't the comparison you were going with.
Well, she too had something of a darkness. As in, she's a computer program and is part of the administration system of this entire world, and she can't tell anybody about that.
And she was so happy getting close to them, even though she knew she wouldn't be able to follow them to the outside.
So there's things she can't express to others to get them off her chest, things that she feels guilty about, and like a type of sadness and longing and yearning for things she cannot have. So really she is the same. However, unlike them,
she chose hope, not despair.
I kind of didn't want to phrase it that way, but this is Danganronpa, so yeah.
Embrace the tropes!
But even still, here in the Neo World program, quite a lot of other people made that same choice.
That's true.
So in the end, you could say that that the interesting part about Chiaki being an AI was the fact that she was so similar to everyone else.
She wouldn't be a compelling character otherwise, frankly.
She too fits within the themes of the game, even though it was actually an uncanny coincidence that she does so.
I see. She's one of my favorite characters.
I can't imagine how she's not one of everybody's favorite characters. She's just presented so well. I realize we haven't said very much, but again, she's the game.
Yeah, we talked about her plenty in the game, and there was only 2 FTEs left. Come on. Isn't it funny that she didn't talk about her father until these last 2?
Yes. We would not have known how to take it and would have taken it straight were we still in the main game.
Uh-huh.
But since we weren't, we immediately jumped into talking about Chihiro. Well, what else is there to say? If you want more of our thoughts about Chiaki,
watch the LP.
I am also highly amused by blatant shipping.
It's always funny when it happens. Right on in Ryuji?
Blatant shipping. I remember when characters in games could actually have relationships. But they don't want to limit people's choices these days. Bah humbug!